Hello people, we are back in Maya and we'll be doing character sets. Character sets in Maya, it is a menu that you're gonna find down here. Let me zoom in so you can see it. It'll be right there, and basically what this means is just a way that lets you organize the keyframing workflow when you are animating a scene. I'll be showing you stuff that is pretty much very technical, but then I'll move on into more practical examples of these ones. Let me get a locator right here, and let me get also a cube or a sphere. Anything could be for this example, like that. And let's say that the sphere, it is a parent of the locator. Actually, the locator is the parent of the sphere. As you can see it right here, if I move the locator, the sphere, it is going to follow like that, which is what we want. And let's say that we want to start keyframing this. I go to frame 1 and I set a keyframe right there, press the S key for setting that keyframe, and you can see that the channel box right there, it goes all red, as we know, indicating that there's a keyframe right there, which is cool. It is Maya talking to us. And now let's say that I want to move the sphere as well, like that, and I set a keyframe right there. Channel box changes the color, and now I have two objects with two keyframes. So I have this one right there, and I have this one right there with those keyframes. And when I say multiple keyframes, it is pretty much everything has been keyframed. And if I zoom in into the channel box, we can see that every single channel right there, the translation in all the axes, the rotation in all the axes, the scale in all the axes, and visibility in that value, it is being keyframed. That is a lot of information. Just by pressing the S key, it's going to go and start keyframing all those values. And it can get more complicated when you have more than one object or character to keyframe, more than one item, you can call it like that, or node if you want to get more into programming language. So one keyframe for locator and then one keyframe for the sphere. If I switch frames, let's say to frame 10 right there, and I want to move now the locator, I have to move it, keyframe it, grab the sphere, move it, and keyframe it. So you can see that I'm doing something that is very repetitive. And if I go to the animation curves by clicking on the layout menu, which gives me that perspective, the graph, and the hypergraph, which is pretty much the nodes right there, I can see that when I grab any of these items, I have a lot of keyframes. I have translation, I have all these ones, I have rotation, 3 axes, and I have the scaling, plus I have the visibility. So that's a lot of keyframes, and if you can see, I only modified the translation right there, but if I go to the visibility, I was not keyframing that one, but it's giving me the keyframes because I just pressed the set key right there, and it is something that Maya, it's registering on the curves, and it's just creating more cluttered in a way, or more information that I don't need. So character sets come really handy for that, and also for me not to be keyframing every single thing. At the moment it's 2 objects, it's only this and that, and I am pressing the S key twice for each one of them. But if I have something more complicated, I have a full body, as we're gonna see in just a moment, keyframing the fingers, keyframing the eyes, keyframing maybe the cheeks, keyframing maybe the hips. A lot of that can get really complicated and repetitive. So character sets is really simple for that. Let me get rid of these keyframes so you can see now the other workflow. I can go and grab the locator only. If you see that the sphere is being highlighted as well, it's because it's under the hierarchy right there. So just grab the locator right there, and I go to character, create character set right there. So if I go to the options box for the first time ever, you go and reset the settings, always do that. and name the character. I can name it now. This one would be ball child, just like that. And then you have some options here for the creation of that set. The way that I do it usually is that I go to the channel box and just get rid of those keyframes right here before I create this thing. So just go delete right there, and then the other one does not have any keyframes. That's fine, just go back to the window and then choose from channel box, and then you have to have something selected because this is actually looking into that. And let me just do a drawing right there so we can connect and see what I mean. This is my drawing tool that is opening in the moment, and it is right there. Let me switch to the yellow color. So if you pick this one right there, this one's actually looking into what you have selected. You can have selected any of these ones and it's just going to do that. So to me, it's a way of being more in control of what I want instead of letting the computer doing that for me. So I go and grab the translation right there and say all from the channel box right there, and then create that set. What's gonna happen now is that first thing first, you're gonna see that here, these ones now, they go to yellow. When you see that yellow, by default, if you have not changed the colors of Maya, hopefully not, if you see that yellow right there, it indicates that it has a connection. So that's all that you need to know. When it's yellow, it has a connection. Later on, and if you were the one that created that set, you know, well, the connection is a character set, so you're gonna see it in two ways. First one is down here on the interface. You can see that now we have the ball child set, and it's being selected. You can see that with the little bullet next to it. So that means that it's selected right there, and that's cool, that's what we want. The other way that we can see it is that if we go to the outliner, go in here, Windows, outliner right there, blink, you put it on, and you can see right here, and then we can zoom in so you can see it. We're gonna have this, which pretty much has the icon for a character set, and then we click on this one and we can expand it, and it has the information of that set. There's one more thing that you can see, and this is pretty much if you're a programmer, but I'm just going to show you how this works. Window, relationship editors, and then you go to the sets, and it's going to open one more window that you can see that it contains more information. The one that we need is this one, the ball child set, and you can click on that one and it expands. It's almost at this point, it's almost the same as this one, but it's not. It looks the same, but it has more information. And for now, it has only 3 values. It has the translation in X, Y, Z. Later on, it's gonna have a lot more. So sometimes you need to go back and go deep into that if you wanna make some changes. But for now, you know where to find it, what happens in Maya in the backstage, and let's keep on going with more of the practical side for animation. So now I created that for this set. Let's say for the sphere, I will only have rotations. So I'll grab the sphere now. I will go and say character, and instead of creating a new one, I will just add to the existing one. Which one? The one that we have down there selected. That's what matters. So I go and do the steps, grab the sphere, let's say rotations only, and then go there and say add to this character set right there, and you let it go, and the same process is going to happen. You're going to see that this gets yellow, not any other value, only that one. And you're going to see that also here now we have more information. And when we have that, it's pretty much saying, Maya, every time that I'm using the set and I keyframe you have to keyframe only these values. And it's pretty handy and it's pretty clean as well. So let's just do an example right now. You can see the workflow, and it's actually super fast now, because I go and just select one item, go there, and set the keyframe. Setting the keyframe now is going through that set, and it's saying, okay, he told me to keyframe this, 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 and then from the sphere only rotations. So it's gonna go and do it like that for us. And a way to check it is that if I let go the set, let's say that I go none on the lower right corner of the interface, I go like that and I grab the sphere. Now it has that keyframe right there without me going into and keyframe it by hand. Because of the set, it is finding that. So let me keep on going now that you understand the process. I go to the frame right there and I can move this one going this way, and I can go that one going the opposite side. I press the S key. The S key is looking into the set, and now we have two things that are happening at the same time. We have that, and then we have this that is moving like that. Let's go to a different frame. Now let's just bring this one like that without really moving the locator and set the keyframe. And now this is going like that. You can see that that is great. And if I go to my curves, I can see that that set, it's actually only keyframing. If I let go and deselect anything on the viewport, I can see that I have keyframes on the channels or the values or the coordinates that I was telling Maya to keyframe. I have no visibility keyframes, I have no scaling keyframes, which is awesome, that's what we want. And not only that, but the workflow is much more faster. With pressing one time on the keyboard, it's gonna go through and keyframe all the things that it needs to keyframe. And again, this is a really simple example that shows you the basics. Now let's take a look why this tool came to life in Maya. And for that, I will be switching packages. I'm gonna open here Toon Boom and take you back all the way to Disney animation, and when the animation was mainly 2D animation, was traditional animation, and then we had a light table that you can rotate like that, and you were drawing only a piece of paper, pencil, and an eraser maybe. So let me draw something here for you. Let me draw my favorite character right there, my simple shape for my little guy right there. Let's say that this is my guy. I can go like that and do this. So this is my guy, and then just notice that I'm drawing the complete set, which is important, the complete body right there. So let's say that he's pointing somewhere in that direction, and here's the sleeve, and here's the other sleeve, like that. So this is drawing number one, and now this would be a keyframe. That's how we draw it. We go to the paper, we go to that frame, and then we draw it with our hand, just like that. And if I switch keyframes right there, and I turn the onion skin on so I can see my previous drawing, and let's make a different pose right there. I can do something more, I guess, sophisticated. Let's say that he's actually going down with his knees right there. He's going down, and he might be, yeah, let's say that he's looking down somewhere here. And again, he's not happy of what he found out, and the arms could be like one there and then the other arm right here. And again, just notice that I'm drawing the entire body. That's important because that's the way it was before in the old days. And just to make another point there, we would not really draw just one arm per piece of paper or just one eye. That would be more limited animation, but for now let's just keep it like that so you can understand what I'm doing here. And if I flip between the drawings, I can go from this one to this one. This one's pose B, so I can go from A to B like that. Alrighty, simple. Let's keep Maya like that with that same workflow. So if I go and open my guy, same guy right there, recent files, and then open my character there, it's going to import the file, the character, and then this character has been broken down with what we know that it has that character set. So again, if I go down here, let me just zoom in so you can see it. We have that set, and it says there's a set for the whole body or for the whole character. We have the fingers and then we have the face. So as you can see, we can start breaking things down. And if I set the keyframe for that, let's just do something right there, really simple and quick, so we don't spend much time posing this guy for now. So I'm just gonna go and select it. You have to remember to highlight the menu or choose the set right there. So let's say I'm gonna go to frame 1, set the keyframe. Now, the first keyframe might be a bit slower. That's the keyframe that Maya's thinking about things. It's thinking about the set. It's just going through all this information. And you can see that I have, again, on the channel box, I have things that have been incorporated into the set. And all of them are yellowed right there. So zooming back again, and now I can go to the curves. Right here, just choose my layout that it has the curves, and I can see that this set right there has a lot of things. I can maximize this, and you can see that it contains the legs, it contains the pelvis, torso. I'll zoom in so you can see all the things that it has. This can actually be very technical and daunting, but don't worry about this. We just need to know that it's there. I don't really usually look into that. We just need to make sure that it works. And that's the only thing. So a lot of information there, and the keyframes would be based on that. So if I grab them, we have a keyframe right here with a lot of information. And let me just switch frames, and let's say that I'll do the opposite pose right here. If I go and do something like that, go up and then grab the pelvis and then go down with the pelvis, and then maybe 1 foot right there. Let me just maximize the viewport so we can see it better, and then do something like that. So now keyframing that with the S key just once. It is giving me that speed that I need, so I can go and just keyframe it once, and it's going to go and travel through all these values and do it, which is amazing. And if I scrub the animation from one to the other one, we can see that everything has been keyframed, and there's no need for me to go one by one. Just imagine that, like one by one arm, then the other arm, then the elbow, then the other elbow, then the wrist, the other wrist, and so on. That's a lot of work, and you can also really do two things to your animation. It can get messy really quickly. That's the first one, because you kind of forget about things like, did I keyframe that arm? Did I maybe not keyframe the arm? So you start wondering, so you have to go back and say, okay, where's the arm? Let's see if I keyframed it, and then you start questioning that. So that's one thing, and then as a consequence, we get to the other one, that you're gonna be a lot more, let's say, less efficient, let me put it that way. If you need to make some changes on the animation, supervisor comes in and he says, you know what, it is looking great, let's do something different, but you're gonna go into the scene and the whole thing is broken. And lastly, we're not keeping the idea of the classical animation days of having one keyframe that contains all the parts of the body, and that's what we need to have. So again, if I go back to Maya, what's important there is that if I go to that keyframe right there, to frame 10 right here, I know by looking at that line right here, I know that the whole body has been keyframed, and that is very important. People that are coming to computer animation without the classical animation background, that's where they get really confused, and everything becomes very hard to manage. So you just need to know, once you have the set, you go in and keyframe every single time the entire body. That is the basics pretty much. So we are opening the scene so we can see how we can build the sets. We have here a pretty simple scene, it's just an arm. And if I go to the wireframe mode, we see that it's only the geometry and bones right there. We have a lot of bones because it has fingers, it has the forearm right there. And as I'm going through each one of those ones, I can notice that in the channel box we have some of the channels have been locked down, which basically means that we cannot do anything because they have been locked down. And it's pretty much to not break the rig and things like that. So let's see how we create these sets. So I go and grab the bones for the arm right there, and then go to the set, create the character set, go to the options box right there, and reset the settings just in case. Name the name of the character. So let's say that this guy is Mario, he has my name, which I like. And then I go from the channel box right there, and remember to select the things that you want to keyframe first, and then go create the character set right there. So once you create it, the channel box is going to go to yellow, indicating that it has a connection again. And that's pretty cool. That's all that we need. Go down to the bottom right corner of Maya. Make sure you have the set selected right there, and then zoom out, and now go through the other ones. So check this out, because I'm going to do it faster. I will grab this one, go to the channel box, and then go character set, and then go add to the set. I do it like that, and then that's cool, it's doing it. And then I'm going to go with these ones, but I'm going to go even faster here, doing multiple selections. This, that level of the hierarchy, do the same thing. Select them in the channel box, press the G key. G key repeats the last action, so go there, and now you have those things going. And then do the other level right there. Same thing, go to the channel box and press the G key. So there you are, we have a complete set in a matter of minutes. You can see that it's really simple. And if I was rigging the whole, if I was doing the set for the complete character, it might be, about 10 minutes. It's really quick. I really like that from Maya. So now we can animate this with something. Let me save the scene, continue and save the scene. And then I go to my set, make sure that it's selected, and then let's just do a couple of poses. So keyframe that. And then let's go to this frame, the last frame, and then keyframe that one. And let's go for a breakdown pose right here. So let's just break the arm a little bit, so we're doing a bit of a overlapping action right here. Go down the chain. If you press the arrow key, you go down the chain and set a keyframe, and then I can go with these ones. Let's see if they would be properly oriented. Let's see. Sometimes they're not. As you can see, for this example, I can go, let's see, grab these ones. Whoops, I need to go one by one. And then you can see that things have not been rigged properly. And that's also good to know when you have riggers in the studio and then you find those issues. And then you ask them, hey, can you have this with the same orientation? Can you have the other one with the same orientation? And so on. So you see these two are working. So now we have that breakdown pose, and we have a pretty simple animation from the arm doing that. And we can actually close maybe, so we can see more of that difference. Let me just do this really quick as well. And it's only keyframing those values, which is what we want. And actually, if you grab this and that, it is going to curl the other way because it's not properly oriented. So you can see that I'm getting into more trouble with those fingers, which doesn't really matter for now, but they should be fixed. And all the rigs, they should have proper orientation. What matters for this example, it is that I can make all those changes and modify those fingers, and then just with the press of one hotkey, it is going to keyframe all the hand right there. So now this is working better right there. Yeah, and then if I want to have a bit of an anticipation, because I have this set on every single keyframe that we see there, 1, 7, and 12, that means that I have all the items are on that line, which is awesome, which is pretty much giving me the ability, if I have drawings like that, I can grab and take them away, and it's going to take away the whole pose, the whole character. In this case, it's just an arm, but it's one complete set. So let's just work on the timing. I can grab this one and move it like that, as we've seen with the mini dope sheet, like that. Maybe one more frame like this, and maybe before it goes up, it goes down. So that's a bit of an anticipation right here. Like that, it goes down and then goes up. So you can see getting more into animation now. And what's really cool, it is the set that is giving me that workflow. And if I go to the curves, I see that everything's organized, and that's what matters the most. The scene is clean. Let me maximize this, and you can see that that column, all the keyframes are on the same frame. If I go to this one, are on the same frame. If I go to that one, are on the same frame. If you would not have that set, things would be like that. This one might be here, this one might be there, this one might be here, and it's not something that we want at any point in the scene. Later on, we would break it for overlapping reasons, but not at the beginning. So there you are. Hopefully this gives you an example about sets, how to create them, where they come from, why and what do we use them for, and how can they organize your scene and make you a more efficient animator. The character sets, there's one thing that we need to know at a studio level. What happens with the studios is that you can't really go and create these sets just in case that you need one. Let's say you go to a studio, they give you one character to animate and you don't have the set and you're used to using them, but you can't just really go and do it. You have to go through a certain hierarchy, ask, you know, the supervisor, ask the TD, ask the lead animator in that case, just asking, can we have these things? And then he's gonna say yes or not. And I will show you why this sometimes can break the pipeline. And again, this is very technical, but you need to know this. If I back in Maya with the animation data, it is right there that we animated with so much love. I go to the outliner right there and I go to the set. Remember, this is the Mario character right there, and it is the set. It has all the information. Once you select it, you're gonna find that it has on the channel box, it's giving you all that information, all these bones, all those rotations and axes, all the information that animation wise we don't really look at. We just know that it is happening. That's how we, or how far we should maybe like really care, because we're more for performance. If you go to the Hypergraph, which is this one, remember you can go to that one by doing this, go south, Hypergraph, and you grab the set and then you display the nuts and bolts of that by doing that. Clicking on this one right there. You just zoom in so you can see it. You don't need to know this as much, but you just understand the concept. So once that you're there, I will maximize this viewport so you can see what's going on, and go in and go in and go in even more. So what's happening here, in one side, on the left side, I have all the channels. I have on the right side, I have the specific items that you can see. You can actually see like the bones, you can see the geometry, you can see all those things that are actually going to be seen in the Playblast. In the middle, this is that set that is pretty much saying, all of you guys, you have to go through me first before getting into the geometry, getting into the bones, getting to the final destination. Before that set was there, they would go straight. They would go straight, and let me just make it clear that they would go, you know, like that, and then just grab these things like that, straight. Because of that set, they need to focus here. It's almost like a bridge. They need to go through there, and then they would open like that. Just by that change, by adding that set, the pipeline has to be different, or it has to be set for that. If you go in and create a character set in the middle of a production and you let them know later on the production, scenes might not render, things might start breaking out, and it's not a good idea. So that's why you have to check. So just with this, just understand that there's a certain mathematical algorithm situation that is happening in Maya that is forcing Maya to make it in a different way And if the pipeline was not built for that, well, it is not good. In the school, every single character that we're gonna give you, it has those sets. We have set the pipeline for that. And in your home computers, you're gonna be able to open them up and animate them and render them like that. So we're just using the tools that Maya comes with. An option would be that in the studio, if they say you can't do that because it's gonna break the pipeline, what they would usually do, they would come up with a solution that you can keyframe everything on the same frame and keep the scene organized for the animators. They would have a different solution. It is not the end of the world. They would just have a different script. So with that, now you know what's happening in Maya.